Hello everyone, this is Mato. Day 2 with the ROG Ally here, just because I haven't really shown it yet. Usually when I'm sitting on my desk and I don't play on this, I just usually just download stuff on it, so I'll just leave it be for now. There. So today we're gonna talk about a little bit of my experiences with it and see how it goes. So I can definitely feel that there is a battery drain on this thing. It definitely feels like any gaming laptop that you would have, and that you would open it with a battery. It's something that I never really used to do, but in this specific case, it just really feels like that. And I think that that will kind of affect a lot of things that people will try to do. Definitely, if you're coming from the Steam Deck, you will have to adjust. And now, again, I haven't really tried too many indie games, and that is maybe the problem. I have mostly tried, if possible, to make things run on 1080p, and then if I felt that, you know what, I can withstand like a little bit like the lower resolution as long as it has like way more FPS. So for something like this, let me just get it up so everyone will be able to see. All right. So from something like this here, yeah, for something like this, if you guys are able to see, this says 180. Now, of course, this is just randomly when I just uncap the frame rate, because usually I have it capped on 120, and I usually now run this game with Vulkan and pretty much similar settings with what I had on the Steam Deck as well, and it was running 120 most of the time. Like, you would really get your FPS tank. Probably I still have to try it on maps, but my experience has been like really good so far. Like in some games like this, I will turn off the 1080p for 720p in order to be able to play at a higher frame rate. Specific games, right? Like I wouldn't care to do this in something like Resident Evil, but I will care to do this for something like an ARPG if it's possible, right? If it's sagging around 60, going a little bit below 60, or be able to do 120, but I'm definitely choosing the 120, because ARPGs are not really something that you play for the visual. Like, okay, it has like a certain style, but you don't really do it for that regard. So definitely, when you're playing with a higher wattages, as you can see, I was plugged in there. It was this morning when I woke up, and I was surprised with how much it can go. The specific, as you can see here again, the specific one I was running here was in 25 watts. It was my custom profile, no turbo, no nothing like that. It was just stable 25 watts. I also tried this even with 18 watts that I usually run on my desktop, and it was definitely running. The thing really, like when I used it on a desktop experience, really felt more like a laptop. Um, that I just plugged it in and it was ready to be a desktop. Now, that is something that many people that actually have a desktop love, and that is also something that many people that try to get away from that experience will hate. So I can definitely see from both sides being good or bad. Now, moving on, some things, like usually I'm gonna speak like the experience that I have, like that I have had. One really frustrating thing is because I use Steam a lot and the Xbox app. it feels so weird that they just didn't think to put an Xbox button when this is obviously like could have been done. Now there is even not even something programmed with the macros. You can do it. I will do it probably. Because I just hate really touching on the screen, especially now that I don't have. I haven't decided on what kind of thing that I will go for to cover the whole screen. I don't think there is any protector out right now that covers the whole screen. I will try to do that, not just the effective screen. I will try to get something like that because usually I prefer it visually. I don't like to see edges just on the visual area and stuff. The same thing with the Switch. I just waited for the Switch to have like the full thing covered, and I just prefer it that way. On my Steam Deck, I haven't felt really the need to do that, but on this one, that I really touch the screen because one of the things that I really miss from this one is just this. When you wanna go to your desktop, you just use this. They're amazing. Many people that never use them even on the Steam Deck, but for me, I was really frequent user. Sometimes even some games I was mapping them for extra mapping buttons. It was really cool. But because I don't want to be switching all the time, coming back and forward to use the cursor with the analog, I will just it's faster to just tap on it on the Xbox button here to see what I'm talking about. So like on the ROG Ally, you will have to press this one, and I actually just don't like touching the touch screen because then I will have finger trips on top of it, and then that is the reason why I want to get a tempered glass on top of it, just in case, because I just really hate leaving fingertips on screens. It's really annoying. You always have to be conscious of having dry hands and not having touched anything before. So yeah, do not leave any marks while you're playing, can be annoying. One of the other things that I noticed was that a lot of people were actually talking about this. They really hated it, how much like they were saying that it's not responsive to use the touchscreen. It's definitely more responsive than the Steam Deck for me, the touchscreen, but it's by no means serviceable to be like this is a tablet or something like this. If you try to get into an emulator and click on the boxes, that is not going to be a fun experience. For those kind of things, for the initial setup, I will always advise to just have something like either a mouse or one of those things that I have. Let me just put it out. On one of those keyboards like this, very handy. It's a keyboard, and you can also use it for like multimedia things, and this is a touchpad, really useful. I only use this for these devices because I have it on the dock that I have it docked, so definitely it's good. I still haven't faced any problems with the keyboard. A lot of people saying that it disappears on them. Now, what else I have done is that I have disabled the automatic keyboard to pop up. I like to do it manually by myself because that doesn't make sense. Doesn't really make sense. A lot of things just pops up, and usually it's buggy that way. So I saw it once kind of flickering, and I'm like, I'm just gonna open it manually. Every time I opened it manually, there was no problem. I was really surprised with how good the Steam Big Picture mode is on this one, but whoever uses and likes a lot the Steam Big Picture mode, please be aware that when you are into that mode, it's gonna use a lot of resources. I actually had this problem before, even with the previous version, with some of my laptops. I thought that it was cool that to move around and had like it was an older laptop, so it was like GTX 950 mobile, so it was really terrible. But that's what I had, and I was trying to use some things with it, and it was really not great because it was using a lot of resources and making some games unplayable that needed more resources. And that is how it works here as well. And I'm not saying it just that it uses a lot of resources, it just drains the battery a lot, especially if you have the 100 hertz mode on 120 hertz. It will sync up to 120 fps to be able to give you the smooth experience. And also, if you have it on 1080p, it will draw more wattages. Now, what I would suggest is when you're using it to download some stuff, just use it there, like to download what you want, and then just get out of the big screen mode and leave it if you want to be on battery and save some battery while you're doing that, and change back to the normal mode. That way, it doesn't draw as much battery. It's way better. That is my experience for like 2 days now. I don't know if it's something that changed, but you will definitely be able to see it for yourself if you open the real-time monitor after, how much watt the device will draw on battery when you're downloading something, compared to, or like not even downloading, but you're just using it, and you just have left it idle for a little bit. Although I will say just probably try to not have anything idle. Yeah. So this has been kind of my experience with the whole thing for day 2. I have played a lot more games on it. I have some really great experiences and even enhanced experiences before. For me, Fallout has been amazing. I just love to be able to play on this thing. It just clicks different when it's mobile. Way better than my experience on Steam Deck that I could really like barely be able to play, like 60 FPS. On this one, if you have it 18 watts, you can experience around like 70 to 80 frame rate FPS, and this is for 720p. And with the RSR, because you are able to use the RSR, it doesn't feel that you're having a bad experience. If anyone wants me to post the settings that I have, I will post them. When I have it plugged in, I am able to get in around 100 to 120. Very good. Yeah, very good. I was really having a lot of fun with Fallout 4 yesterday. And I'm trying to check today also some other games like Resident Evil 4, Raven's Watch. That was some indie that popped up and I really liked on the Steam Deck, but it was not really performing well there. As you saw in the picture, I tried to tinker a little bit with the settings on the Path of Exile. Not much info, not many people play on this thing yet and try to play Path of Exile. I was really amazed, blown away by how much you get. Now, we're gonna go to something else. Also, I found something like a tip for people to use, with people discussing it on Discord. It was not something that I knew because I didn't have an Asus laptop, but a lot of people suggested for me to go and change the battery to be the max charge on 80%. And if you really want to use the battery wise, you can leave it, you can disable it for a moment, go to 100, and then for example, if you leave it permanently on the dock or something like that, you don't want to hurt the battery, so 80% is a really good idea. Just leave it there, and so you won't lose too much of the battery longevity. That is the goal, right? You don't want, and again, it's not as optimized as ideally you will want it to be optimized as Steam Deck, that all of these things are just automatic. You don't have to think about it. It reaches 100, then it stops. It's like Apple, like when it reaches the max, if you have the battery conserving mode, it will stop charging after a while, or it will start charging really slowly, so it will detect like when your day starts. Just software tinkering that I don't think it's really able to do on Windows. Maybe they will be able to do it. I hope so, but they have laptops for so long. I don't think I have seen them try to do something like that. Now, another game that I tried was the Dragon Ball Fighters. As I said, I really love playing fighting games on this thing. 1080p, max settings. Actually, not max settings, high settings. I was able to get everything there. No problem, stable 60. I even tried to play online. It was pretty good experience. With Street Fighter, I'm still tinkering. I'm able to get stable 60 now even on multiplayer, but I had to go to 720p. Maybe not something that people would enjoy, but just to put something out there that we still don't really have mainline drivers for the device. So there is hope that things could get better. After all, this device is officially out only for 2 weeks. I didn't really try Elden Ring yet. Again, I was a bit disappointed into that, so I didn't really touch it again as long as I hear that there is some finding for better performance. And overall, my experience that I used for Fallout with the joysticks, a lot of people were saying stuff about the joysticks. All I can say is that they feel loose, and that's it. Like, they just feel loose. One thing that people would want to do as well is definitely you would want to go to your driver, the AMD software. What I have done also is that I have mapped it in my Armor crate. So if I really want to go there, I will just be able to press the button and launch the application. I will suggest for everyone, if they're playing games that require precision, I will actually, even if you play games that don't require precision, I will always recommend to have the Radeon anti-lag thing on. I don't know what is off by default. I don't know why their standard mode has it off. I don't know if it uses resources or something like that, but I definitely recommend for people to use that. I haven't used anything else except that. Only thing I turned it off from the driver was the anti-lag. And now for the bad experience. I tried to play Wolong from the Xbox. I haven't bought the game. I have Game Pass Ultimate though. I have had before even the device that gave you the 3 months. And I logged in. I tried to get the game again. I had this weird thing that you had to pause it and unpause it, and then it will start downloading. And that happened, right? But then what happened was that this thing really hates overlays on top of it. I realized it this morning. I was trying to make it work for a long time, but I was getting weird flickering and stuff all the time when I was having the the real-time monitor on it. Maybe it really hates overlays. What else I also had problem with was that I couldn't really get it to work as I wanted. I have seen some other people that like try to do some settings for have 60. For me, the most annoying experience was that when you were trying to tinker with the settings and use the D-pad will just start going up and down and be stuck there, not really be able to control it. It's like I was pressing up and someone was pressing down. I tried to adjust the dead zones, maybe on the stick was drifting or something. I changed it, nothing changed. So definitely something was going on. I never had any issue with any other game and something like that. Even fighting games that could potentially give you that kind of issue with the dead zones. But definitely this was a big problem for me. And I just uninstalled it. It was a really trash experience for me. Like I don't know if it's and I couldn't really get it to the driver, because even if I try to get it to get the application to the driver using the Xbox thing, they don't give you permission to touch the files. So yep, I was not able to do anything. Like I was not able to put anything in there. I turned off the if you forget that you were trying to see how this performs, and I just disabled the real-time monitor, then maybe I could have a good experience on 30. But it just didn't feel good, and I didn't really like that I couldn't tamper with anything, especially with the thing that on the settings I could just press it and then it will go crazy. I hated it because it happened every time in many menus as well, and even with things that required you for you to press L1 or R1 to change the menu. Even that way, it was kind of bugged. So I don't know. I tried to try to find similar solution for people to speak about the menus. No, I didn't see anything else in the internet, so I just gave up. And I was like, all right, this happens, whatever. Uninstalled it. Really sad, but because I was really looking forward to play this game on this device. I guess we'll just stick with the Xbox Series X that I have. Now, this was mostly my experience. I don't want this video to drag too long. This was mostly my experience. I will keep trying to try new games. I already have started downloading other games to see how they go today. And I will post again tomorrow with my findings and see what the results do we have. Right? Thanks everyone for watching and have a great day.